Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Do you feel stuck, silent, and stressed all the time? Is something hurting your heart and soul? Are you burning yourself out? Then you're in the right place, because this is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with inner peace and joy. Let's get started. So we have been talking about controlling our wellness, controlling our well-being. In the last episode, I was sharing with you the serenity prayer, or the idea of the serenity prayer. And one of the lessons that we can draw from it is the need to take courageous action around things that we can change. Because, hey, guess what? We all have things in our lives that are not very happiness promoting for us. So if you're going to have control over our wellness, we need to be able to do something about those things. And in order to achieve those changes that we desire, we must take courageous action. Courageous action that requires us to do things that are different than what we have been doing so far. Things that maybe even scare us. Right? Because if we keep doing what we have been doing all this time, staying within our comfort zone, we are going to keep producing the same results that we have been producing all this time, staying within our comfort zone. But we want to see change. We want to see different results. So we must necessarily engage in different action. Now, as we think about this idea of taking courageous action and what can we control and what can we not control, look, our beliefs around this are supremely important. And I was telling you, I started, before I make any claims to you about what is and isn't possible, I want to make this, kind of disclaimer kind of a thing, where I'm like, I really, really want to encourage you to challenge everything that you hear, both from your own mind and from me and anyone else. Okay, because our beliefs form. How do our beliefs form? It's like we hear people say things, we have experiences in our own lives because of which we draw conclusions about what is and isn't true, or what we believe is or isn't true. And it's what we hear and those experiences that form the foundation of our beliefs. And a lot of times, I know, for me, I even though, I have this very strange, I've found to be really strange part of my personality. Now, of course, I realize, hey, nothing actually strange about it, but it was just this weird thing for me for a very long time, where on the one hand, after I survived child sexual abuse at age 8, I really lost my sense of trust in myself, and I had a really hard time with all my relationships because, my trust in everybody like have been so shaken, even the people that I loved and who loved me, because I lost my sense of trust in my own self to be able to tell the difference between when someone truly loved me or not, when they wanted to hurt me or not, because the person who abused me was somebody that I had loved and trusted. So on the one hand, I was having like all these trust issues and really struggling in my relationships because of that. But on the other hand, I have this very naturally trusting disposition. So if I was, let's say, reading a book, and I mean, this is still kind of true. So I have to really catch myself. And that's why I'm giving you this reminder to also give myself this reminder, because I have to keep reminding myself of this over and over again. It's like I have this tendency of, I will be reading a book that I like it's making sense to me, and I'll take it like very seriously, and I'll just like believe it, like believe whatever the author is saying, and then start to live my life as if it's true. You know, I do that with like a lot. I have teachers, you know, that I've come across over different periods of my life, and I just, you know, I'll just start to believe them and trust them, everything that they're saying. And the thing is that no one is always right. I mean, hey, you know, we have this, like, I'm a Muslim, meaning I'm a follower of the religion of Islam. It's a commitment that I've made in my life. And so my greatest model of a human being is the Prophet Muhammad. Okay. Now, of course, as a Muslim, I also believe in all the other prophets of the Jews and the Christians. And as a Muslim, you know, we are taught to give equal respect to all the prophets. I don't believe that Muhammad was a better prophet than any of the other prophets or anything like that. That's not what this is about. But I know the most about Prophet Muhammad, right? Because we have detailed descriptions of him, his life, his teachings. You know, it's his tradition, his teachings that I have studied the most deeply, and all that kind of stuff. So he's my go-to model, okay, in terms of the model of excellence, the model of how to live our lives as our best selves, to live our lives that allow us to achieve inner peace and joy and contentment and fulfillment and so on and so forth. And even as we look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad, as I look at the life of Prophet Muhammad, and I believe that he was as perfect as any human being could possibly get. Even he made mistakes. Even the Prophet Muhammad made mistakes in his life. And this is not just even what I believe is a subjective human experience. Because, hey, guess what? As a Muslim, another thing that I believe is that the Quran, which is our holy scripture, I believe that the Quran is the word of God. I do believe that. And this is in the Quran. The Quran itself. There's chapters and verses in the Quran where God says, hey, Muhammad, you made XYZ mistake right here. And this is how you need to correct it. And correct it now. Like there are chapters in the Quran itself, or the Quran, which I believe is the word of God, pointing out the mistakes of the Prophet Muhammad, the very prophet that I believe, the human being that I believe is a model of excellence, the model of perfection, insofar as any human being can be perfect. And he made mistakes. Hey, if you're not belonging to the Islamic tradition, but maybe you identify more with the Judeo-Christian tradition, just open the Bible and look at all the stories of the biblical prophets. My gosh. The prophets, even the prophets, made mistakes. Okay? So, I could be making mistakes. I could be saying things to you that there's problems with those things, with what I'm saying. Now, I will say for myself that everything that I'm sharing with you, to my knowledge, it's true. And my intention is to share with you the best knowledge that I have, the truest knowledge that I have, my best understanding of what's true and what's applicable. So I will say that for myself. But even with that intention in place, I may be making mistakes. I may be saying things that are not right because I'm human. And as humans, we make mistakes. So I want you to challenge everything that you hear, even from me. But now, here's the other invitation that I'm going to make for you, is that even as you challenge everything that you're hearing, including from me, don't just be like an armchair philosopher about these things, where you're just sitting and thinking and finding things to nitpick and criticize and split hairs on. Because you could spend your whole life doing that and not get anywhere, not have that get you anywhere in terms of being any closer to establishing for yourself what the truth might be, or gaining wisdom in your life, greater, deeper wisdom in your life. Because guess what? Wisdom is applied knowledge. Wisdom is applied knowledge. So, the only way you can get deeper wisdom in your life is by applying knowledge in your life. So whether it's knowledge you already have or knowledge that I'm attempting to share, that I am sharing with you, and that you may be wanting to consider taking into your life and using to help you in your life, challenge it, but challenge it not just with armchair philosophy. Challenge it with courageous action, with courageous application in your life, so that you can gain wisdom from it. All right. So I'm noticing the time, and I see that I've spent quite a long time just making this point to you about how important it is for you to engage in this challenge. But this is really, really important. This is really, really critical, guys, because I'm going to be making claims about what is and isn't possible for you in terms of being able to establish control in your life. And many of the claims that I make, they may be seriously challenging for you in terms of they're very out of alignment with what you believe is possible and true. And they may be very much out of alignment with your lived experience of what is and isn't true. So, you it's important that you take on this challenge of challenging what you hear from me, both at the level of being really critical of what you're hearing me say in terms of, is what I'm saying even making any sense? But also at the level of testing it out through courageous action. So, let's see. I think what I'm wanting to do is just kind of wrap up here for today. Given the time, it's like if I give you a claim right now, make one of those claims right now, then I'll make the episode really long, and I want to keep these like around this time frame so that, you know, everything's easy and manageable. So here's what we'll do is we're going to wrap up right here, but I want you to keep this challenge in mind. And then next episode, I'm going to actually lay one of my claims on you, and then we'll delve deeper into reflection around that claim and what that means for you and your life in terms of achieving control over your own life and well-being. All right, so until we connect next time, I wanted to wish you lots of peace and joy. And I also want to encourage you to contact me and connect with me if you have any questions that come up for you, any concerns that come up for you, if you want to express any challenges, you know, in terms of critical analysis of what I'm sharing with you, whatever it is, let me know. And the easiest way you can get in touch with me is by going to my website at www.academyofthriving.com. That's www.academyofthriving.com. And if you click on the contact us page on academyofthriving.com, you'll get all the different options for how you can connect with me. So email, set up a phone call, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. All right, so that's the easiest way you can get all that information is just go to my website, academyofthriving.com. And until we connect next episode, I wish you lots of peace and joy.